Okay. So, shalom, friends. This is David Tablante of Sovereign Sentinels. This is my third take, by the way, because I've had some issues setting this up. But anyways, now that we've finally fixed what needs to be fixed, this will be my first video ever just after my introduction. I know I did my introduction video, but it was kind of short and there wasn't really any video. Let me just check that. Oh, yeah. So we had our intro, and it was really short, but that was like the manifesto. I'm sure, I'm not sure if you guys have checked that out, but you guys need to check that out if you haven't seen that yet. So I'm still in the process of fixing and furnishing this new home that I've already purchased a few months ago, but it was only now that I was able to move in here, since I had to deal with a lot of other stuff back in my old home. And I actually attempted to record my videos there, but unfortunately the quality turned out to be crap, and life just got in the way. But now that I've sorted things out, now I can focus on doing my YouTube content. Okay? So, what was I talking about then? Okay, so this channel is going to focus on helping people living in the first world west that are looking to leave within the next 4 years, because we all know that infamous 2030 year, right? We all know what that 2030 year means for us. Everybody knows it's Agenda 2030. It's no longer a conspiracy theory at this point. The global agenda, the reset, is no longer a conspiracy theory at this point. It has already been legislated in the UK and the EU, and UK, Europe in general, they're ground zero for the agenda of the elites, but Canada and the United States, Australia, New Zealand are not exempted, okay? But in my belief, I think the United States is going to collapse the last. I think UK and Europe and Australia, New Zealand and Canada, especially like the top three offenders of Western collapses, UK, EU. UK and EU are actually tied in the same spot, followed by Canada, because we all know what's happening there, okay? But I think the United States is going to collapse last. So if you're born an American citizen and you're still in America, then consider yourself lucky, okay? So not only that, and not only do I help people that are living in the first world west who are looking to escape Agenda 2030, I also help them specifically move into the Philippines and have their expat. I don't really like calling it expat because it's kind of ambiguous. Like, sometimes people consider expats as a temporary or transient living in a foreign country, but other people consider the term expat as meaning living in a foreign country long term, or perhaps just migrating there. So I don't really like the term expat. What I promote here in Sovereign Sentinels is, although I'd like you to travel here and you can try it out first, you know what I mean? But like in Sovereign Sentinels, what I teach is specifically buying a house here, a condominium. You cannot actually buy like an actual house, but like you can buy an apartment, you can buy a condo unit. And depending on the circumstances, it is going to cost you money. So what we teach in Sovereign Sentinels is we need to become the top 1%. We need to become the ruling class. Although, yes, not all of us are in the top 1%. Well, technically I am, because like the monthly payment in this apartment alone costs like 3 times the salary of a college graduate office worker here in Metro Manila. So it's like 1,500 bucks. So that's like 75K in pesos, in Philippine pesos. That already puts me in the top 1% of Filipinos. So yes, I am officially a part of the top 1%. But that's because income inequality is so huge in the Philippines, which is why I always say that the United States and the First World West in general is good for 0 to 1. However, 1 to N, once you already made that money, you're already making like 10, 20, 50, 100K per month after taxes specifically, then I think your money and your self-improvement would go further in other countries. And in my opinion, the Philippines is the country that you should go to. It's not that it's because Philippines is objectively better than Thailand or Vietnam. It's just that a lot of the people that teach those, Thailand content or Vietnam expat content or South America expat content, they don't really go into the details, or they are too vague, or they are too specific. They don't give you the all-in-one. You know what I mean? I give that all-in-one. Where to get the best deals in residential real estate. I'm not talking about like buying real estate specifically to make money. I don't think that's the best way to make money. But like, where is the best place to get a condominium? So, which also, by the way, helps you to get a residency, or at least a permanent residency, so you no longer have to sign up for a visa, right? So, yeah, and what's the best way to get women? What's does cold approach work, or does social circle work? We're gonna talk about that, but in my opinion, I'm gonna answer that in another video. But TLDR is that Philippines is a highly feudal society. It's a third world country, so women are more likely to be wary of cold approach since it's a third world country, and they tend to be wary of men, especially strangers. So the proper game in the Philippines is social circle. But the game that you learn in the First World West does not necessarily apply here. Which is why you see foreigners here struggling. And I've never ever seen a foreigner with like an 8 out of 10 and above. It's always, not even a 6 or even a 7. I always see the foreigners with the ugly women. I'm sorry to say, but it's just, I'm basing it off my experience and what I've seen. That's because the foreigners and the expats here just don't fucking know how the fucking game works. And this is why this is not just content creation. It's like, this thing that I'm doing is also like war. So it's like a war for influence, since there's a lot of misinformation and perhaps deliberate disinformation. Because I'm seeing a lot of content creators, especially the usual white sex-pack, digital nomad, password bro people uploading content about the Philippines. They might even have a wife, a Filipino wife that's ugly as fuck. They have children that's fuck. They also have children, but they're still fucking teaching about game. And so like, you're already out of the fucking game. You already have a family. You already have a wife. You're already married to this sub 4. I can't even call them sub 5, but like sub 4 ugly Filipina that's probably been ran through by expats just like him, and they've had like 3 to 4 kids. And this son of a bitch decides to upload content about being a digital nomad, about that passport bro expat life in the Philippines. And I don't know why they get the thousands of subscribers and thousands of views, but like, fuck. This is why I'm here. Hey, this is why I'm here. I'm not only here to, upload content and anything. That's not only the purpose of why I'm here. Another purpose of why I'm here is because I'm just here to wage war, you guys. I'm just here to wage war. Of course, metaphorically speaking, I'm just here to wage war. We're going to put an end to all of these password bro channels that talk about the Philippines. And some of them are either, super old, they're fucking boomers, they already fucking retired, and their wives are ugly as fuck. Or you're going to see other people that are quite young, but like they're giving out the shittiest advice ever. That's going to get you fucking in prison. This is going to get you fucking deported. or it's gonna get you a fucking STD. Like, fuck. I don't know how to explain it to you guys, honestly. Like, I've seen so much shitty advice, and that's because no one here in the password bro slash digital nomad slash red pill community is a local that is bilingual in both English and Tagalog, the local language. And the foreigners aren't even that fluent in Tagalog anyways. So like, they're not really able to tell you the whole truth, is what I'm trying to say, right? So that's what I'm here for. I'm going to help all of you people living in the first world West to prepare for your exodus. Exodus is what I like to call it. I remember that that's the term that I always use for X, on X, which is Exodus, because it's like if you guys are familiar with the story of Joseph the Dreamer and how the Hebrews, they weren't really called Israelites back in the day. They were called Hebrews, or in Hebrew, Ivrim. They were called Ivrim back in the day. So Joseph took all of his Ivrim brethren and took them to Egypt, and they became rich. But then there was a new Pharaoh that replaced the old Pharaoh, and this time they got enslaved by the new Pharaoh. They lost all of their wealth. All of their assets got expropriated by this new Pharaoh, and then that's where they got enslaved. And this is where the Exodus story comes into play, where they escape out of Egypt, with Moses and parting the sea and all that, and then they go back to the Promised Land, which was Canaan. And so that's the term that I like to use, is Exodus. Okay, Exodus. Why Exodus? Because just like in the Bible, just like in the aftermath of Genesis, in the beginning, Exodus, the country or the nation of Egypt once served the Hebrew people well, or the Israelites well, but after there was a change of government with a change of the Pharaoh, that very same place called Egypt started enslaving them, started expropriating all of their wealth, started taking their property, started taking their money, started taking all of what they had until they had nothing left, and then they were enslaved by the new Pharaoh. And that's exactly what's happening in the West right now. All of the Bible stories you can think of, the most relevant Bible story of this day and age is actually Joseph the Dreamer and Exodus, okay? But specifically Joseph the Dreamer, okay? I want you guys to read the last parts of Genesis, like, I don't know if it's like 38, chapter 38, 39, just, you can just look it up online just before Exodus, right? So yeah, you gotta look it up, you gotta read it, or you can just ask your favorite AI chatbot on the summary of Joseph the Dreamer and of Exodus, right? You can just ask for the summary, and that's exactly what's happening in the West right now. You guys think that you still have time, that you still have all the time and all the time in the world to fuck around. No, you do not. You do not have enough time, because you only have 4 years left. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to be fucking simultaneous and everyone is going to be locked down. Well, actually, I don't actually know if they're going to do a repeat of the cerveza sickness, but I don't think it's going to be that simultaneous. But there is still a chance that you might not be able to get the opportunity to leave again. Okay? Cerveza sickness last time was actually just a test run of the even more malevolent plans that they have for us ahead of time, especially once 2030 arrives. So if you guys think that you're gonna get away with this unscathed, then you're gonna be fucking wrong. You're gonna be proven wrong in just a few years. So what is the right strategy for this? If you're still not making money online, then you need to spend the next year, from the next year to up to 2 years. I don't think it's going to take you more than 2 years to make money online, because even I started on Upwork. I don't do it any longer, but that's what brought me out of poverty, doing the Upwork. back when clipping wasn't even that popular yet. Like Andrew Tate wasn't even that that popular like he is today. You know, I was doing the clipping, and back then the payouts were so huge. There wasn't many competition yet. The Indians and the Pakistanis haven't caught on yet, but now most of the people who are doing the clipping are Indians and Pakistanis. Shout out to you, South Asians. But anyway, so back then there wasn't really that much of a competition in the clipping niche, which is what got me started. I got paid like, it depends on the client, but I got paid from $5 to $20. Obviously, I dropped the $5 because I had constant clients that were willing to pay me $10 to $20 per clip, per 60-second clip for like YouTube Shorts and TikTok. So back in the day when there wasn't this like automatic subtitle thingy, like you guys do know this when you're using TikTok or CapCut, like there's this automatic thing that just knows, because there's this artificial intelligence, so it knows what you're saying, and then there's like a subtitle, the fancy subtitle. It's not just a normal subtitle, it's like a fancy subtitle that's like popping out, you know. Well, that was done manually back in the day, and that was precisely what I did. So I edited these fancy subtitles, and there was, you know, fancy visuals and like a B-roll. That's what I did back in the day. Hey, Envato Elements came in clutch, bro. That's what I used back in the day. But now, obviously, of course, my services have become more sophisticated. But like, I already have passive income, so I've already done the grind. I think that just chasing money endlessly, I don't think it's really. I don't think that should be the thing that I should focus on anymore, since I already have passive income. So now I can focus on my purpose, or shall we say, my grind and purpose is now united as one. Is now merged as one. And the grind and purpose is this Sovereign Sentinels channel, okay? So what do I always say? On X? Get an online income skill, learn a second language, get a foreign domicile, which is of course the Philippines, because that's what I'm able to help you with, and leave the West, okay? Leave the West. Now there are exceptions to the fourth step, and that is if you're a high income earner, okay, and you're required to stay in the United States or any first world Western country for that matter, to earn that money. Okay, so for example, if you're a nurse, right? Obviously you cannot work as a nurse here in the Philippines because nurses are not that very well paid here. Okay, but in the United States, for instance, nurses are paid pretty damn good. Okay, they're paid pretty damn good. So you could technically delay the fourth step, but I recommend that you buy a condo unit in the Philippines. It costs around like 150 to 200K per unit, but that's like a good unit. Okay, don't believe these people that are saying like, oh, you can get a unit as low as 50 to 80. No, this is fucking bullshit. It's either going to be a scam, or that building's really old, or the building might be new, but there's something wrong with the place. That's why it's priced so cheap. The really good units with no pest problems, and no maintenance problems, or no admin issues, they're priced at like 150 to 150K. You might think that's like first world pricing, because that is first world pricing, because the quality is first world. So you do not want to cheap out on the condominium apartment that you're gonna get. And by the way, I don't know if I already told you this, but getting a condo unit that's above $100,000 is the best way and the fastest way to get permanent residency in the Philippines. So I don't know if I already discussed this. Yeah, I think I've already discussed that on X, but I haven't discussed it here yet. It's the multiple domicile strategy. There's a lot of names for this. You know, Caleb Jones named this 5 flags, but I've only shortened it to 4, and that is the first domicile. The first domicile is residence, where you actually live. This country should have this country should give you the best lifestyle, which is of course the Philippines, right? But it's not necessarily the best place to do business. It's not necessarily the best place to put your money in, and it's also not the best place to get a passport. Okay, so number one, residence, which is of course Philippines, what I'm going to help you with. Number two is the business country. This is where you should incorporate your business. Number three is finance domicile. This is where you should put your money, but you don't have a business and you don't have a house there. Okay, and number four is a passport. Domicile. This is where you're gonna get your passport. Maybe you should. Maybe if it requires it, then yeah, you're gonna have to buy real estate. But you don't necessarily live there. You don't own a car there. Maybe you could invest in real estate, residential real estate here and there, but you're not really living there. You know, you're just doing it for the sake of getting the passport. Okay, so those are four domiciles. Okay, that's the strategy. Now, I don't recommend that you do those four domiciles simultaneously because, of course, you have to focus on the first one first. Because you need to get a foreign domicile, you need to get a permanent residence because once shit hits the fan, as we say, well, once Agenda 2030 kicks in and is fully implemented by the elites, then you wouldn't really be able to leave if you don't have a permanent residency, okay? Now, that's common sense. We all know that. But, it's not really the process is complicated. What's really complicated is having the discipline and having the grit and having the patience, but also urgency, patience and urgency. As in, if you're still young or you've just fucked around life and you haven't really taken life seriously, then you're gonna have a hard time, bro, because we only have 4 years left. Of course, there are exceptions to this. If you're still quite young, then yeah, you can still make it work. But after 2030, the gates are gonna start to close. The gates are going to start closing in. You know, so if you're already an adult, if you've already graduated college, then you only have 4 years left before it's all over for you, folks. And that's why I'm doing this, okay? And yeah, we're gonna discuss more topics about this, but I just wanted to make a video for today, you know? And yeah, that's it. No voting, no fighting, only leaving. Thanks, guys.